That's the skill that's going to allow you to counteract self-sabotage and engage in opportunity, because you are moving forward. You are progressing with those principles. As a qualified counselor, I support my clients in navigating their lives in order to make decisions and do things that help to support their experience of life. And one of the things that often gets in the way of this is things that contribute to self-sabotage. And I want to spend some time in this video talking about this. Now, there's many forms of self-sabotage. This includes procrastination, perfectionism, self-doubt. What I want to discuss in this video is more around the nature of self-sabotage and why we do it. Now, a fact that might surprise you is self-sabotage does not mean you intentionally do something to sabotage yourself or to get in the way of your progress. Things that contribute to self-sabotage are often things we think are helping us. So a good example of this is being a perfectionist. I have to do things perfectly. I have to reach this goal and follow every step absolutely perfectly. If it's imperfect, it doesn't count. That is a form of self-sabotage because there's no such thing as perfect. So even if you listen to that and be like, I don't think so, I disagree, I think there is such a thing as perfect, we need to look back at where that came from. Because if there is such a thing as perfect and you're trying to chase that, you're likely to experience a fear of failure. Because anything less than perfect for you is a failure. And so how can you achieve perfectionism? How do you measure that? Where did that even come from? Why don't you allow yourself just to try things, just to fail, to learn and grow and get stronger next time? So this is what really we're talking about when it comes to self-sabotage. And I want to explain a bit about how the brain works in this area. I'm not going to speak so much about the neuroscience or anatomy, but I want to talk to you about the psychology behind it. So to oversimplify it, we have essentially two brains. We have a sabotage brain, and we have what's referred to as a sage brain, or the opportunity brain, as I call it. So the sabotage brain is you have negative thoughts, criticisms that you tell yourself, you procrastinate, you doubt yourself, and as a result of all of these things and thoughts that you have, you avoid opportunity. You don't want to risk failing at life because failure to you is very impactful. It can be very hurtful. You engage in unhealthy habits because perhaps life's stresses are so much to handle that you want to escape from them and not face them. All of these habits that you have contribute to your self-sabotage, but you're not doing it on purpose. You're doing it to help you. You're doing it to escape or avoid the pain or discomfort. You're doing it to avoid potentially failing and the consequences that come with that for you. Now, there's many techniques you can use to counteract each of those things, but the point is that the things you're doing that you think are helping you are the very things that are likely contributing to your self-sabotage. And I'm going to speak about a couple of those points so you can relate to it. So the first one is procrastination. When we procrastinate, we can think, oh, we're lazy, or we can't be bothered, or people see us as being lazy, and it's actually not the case. Procrastination does not mean you're lazy. It does not mean you're not capable. It means you are stopping yourself from doing the work because either it's overwhelming, or you don't know where to begin, or you don't want to get it wrong. So therefore, one of these things is stopping you from starting it in the first place. Because to face any of those realities is very uncomfortable. So it's far easier to procrastinate and do something else that distracts you from the task at hand. And it's not the task itself you're being distracted from, it's what the task brings up within you. You're feeling quite stressed by it, overwhelmed, you don't want to fail at it, you want to do a good job. And procrastination is very closely linked to perfectionism. So perfectionism, we might think is a great thing. I want to do the best I possibly can. I want to be perfect at it. That surely can't be self-sabotaging, but indeed it is. Anything less than perfect, which does not exist, anything less than that is a failure. So I know if I try and get it wrong, which is very likely because I'm striving for something that basically doesn't exist, I have to face the consequences of failure. So me being a perfectionist really is not helping me. I'm probably better off willing to make mistakes and not care about being perfect or whatever that means, but just try, even if I fail, and come back and try again and apply what I've learned and apply what I've learned and keep doing that until I get it to a point where I'm happy. That's the skill that's going to allow you to counteract self-sabotage and engage in opportunity, because you are moving forward. You are progressing with those principles. When you think, I'm a perfectionist, I like to do things perfectly, everything's got to be done in a certain way, you think you're helping yourself, but you're actually sabotaging yourself, because there's no way you can meet those standards. And when you don't meet those standards, guess what happens? You're not good enough. You're never going to be good enough. You're never going to do it. You're not capable. Do something else. Give up. This is what happens. So in the strive to be perfect, we end up giving up most of the time. So you're better off alleviating that pressure from yourself and allowing yourself to make mistakes and fail in order to move forward. It sounds ironic, but that's how it works. So you need to look at not the task, not what's happening outside of you. You need to look internally. Why do I need to get this thing right? Why am I striving for perfectionism? Is it that I'm striving for perfectionism, or is it I'm so afraid of failing, I need to go to the opposite end? It's all about reframing your mind, reframing your thoughts, and changing your approach. It's about focusing on small, concrete, actionable habits that you can undertake that allow you to achieve these goals on a consistent, regular basis that encourage you to go along that pathway, rather than starting from here where your skill set is zero and trying to get up here. You need to climb the ladder one rung at a time. As I said, there's many reasons we self-sabotage. We have a fear of failure or fear of success. We could have low self-esteem. There could be previous trauma or a negative experience about striving for something that is putting us off. We may be getting in our own way without us knowing it. So this is an important topic to focus on and begin to think about. Am I sabotaging myself? Am I telling myself that I need to do something even if I don't enjoy it? Or am I setting my goal too high? And why am I not setting a smaller, more realistic goal for myself? Is it because I don't want to admit that this small goal is more achievable for me than a higher goal? Is it because I'm afraid of failure, or that I don't want to try, or that I'm afraid of getting it wrong, or that maybe I feel deep down I'm not capable and that's why I'm procrastinating? So procrastination is just one example of how we self-sabotage. A crucial aspect to this is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence will set the foundation to prevent you from self-sabotaging, because our actions and behaviors are often motivated by our emotions. So if we're feeling quite low or negative, we're going to want to not feel low or negative anymore. And so we may engage in behaviors that prevent us from doing that. So that could be substance use or the use of alcohol, which are the more extreme examples, or it could be just comfort eating, distracting yourself, doing things that escape the lowness to give you a short temporary high. But you need to understand that in pursuing the goals you want to and making it small enough, you can actually get a sense of fulfillment by doing the things that currently you're avoiding to do. So this is where you turn self-sabotage on its head, because you understand why you have certain thoughts about your progress or the way you are or your capability, and what is getting in your way. And it's often not the task that's getting in your way, it's your interpretation of the task. What thoughts are coming up for you? What emotions are coming up for you? Self-sabotage lingers in every single aspect of our life, from work, career, relationships, our personal life. But it's often masked as helping us. So when we have thoughts that we're quite critical of ourselves, or we need to work harder, or we need to do more, or we need to do this or that, it's masked as, oh, this thought is helping us. And this is where the sabotage brain comes in. Is you're going to start rationalizing about these thoughts you have about yourself, that you're not good enough, or you need to work harder, or that was a crap performance you did. The voice is going to say, hey, you need me. I'm making you sharper. I'm making you wiser. But actually, it's self-sabotage. It's sabotaging your progress. There's this whole other area of your brain called the opportunity brain that is there to guide you towards making the progress you want to make, but in a supportive way. So instead of saying, you need to work harder, you're not good enough, therefore you need to work harder, it's going to say, you are where you need to be at this time. So instead of trying to put all this pressure on yourself to complete this task, which currently requires a greater set of skills than you have, why don't we break this task down to match your current skill level so you can start to try things, start to experience what it's like, allow yourself to fail so that you can learn from those mistakes, build your skill set, and try again. So it's all about the relationship to failure, but it allows you also to see the opportunities and where your gaps are in your current expertise. So you're more likely to say, okay, instead of me putting pressure on myself to achieve this thing and therefore procrastinating, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to find out where my gaps are in my skill set. And this could be at work, and it also could be in your relationships, because our emotions determine how we motivate ourselves and how we act. It all comes down to our emotions. And the only way to begin the journey of emotionally regulating yourself and managing any negative situation and the impact it has on you emotionally is to develop emotional intelligence. You need to become aware of why you feel the way you do and how your thoughts contribute to your feelings. So this requires reflection, journaling, meditation, looking back at your past. This requires a complete internal assessment without judgment so you can better understand how you are wired emotionally. And I recommend that you seek counseling for this. And if you're interested to get in touch with me about this, then please click on my website where you can book a session with me. The whole purpose of looking back at your past and understanding how you're wired emotionally is because once you have that understanding, it serves as a blueprint for what changes you can make, change your habits, and reach the goals that you want to. This is what it's going to lead to. But you can't get there unless you have that base understanding of emotional intelligence. And I want to share a story with you of strategies that have been proven to work. And this has worked at the highest level in business by CEOs who have had to report to their shareholders that they've lost a quarter of their revenue. And in ordinary circumstances, those CEOs would look for things to blame or people to blame, what went wrong. They would be very tunnel visioned in terms of their focus to the negative. The opportunity brain is when you are faced in that situation where you've lost a quarter of your revenue in the business and say, okay, how can we use this as an opportunity to change things up? Let's look at what's been working and what's not working. And what's not working, let's change it up. What are other companies doing? What can we do that's different? How can we add value? I mean, it's been working so far, but clearly it's no longer working. What do our customers want? So once you step out of that sabotage brain and looking for things to blame, and now you're moving into what can we change? What can we work with? What skills do we have in the team? Who wants to contribute? You're now opening yourself up to opportunity and chances for you to rectify the situation without allowing yourself to be sabotaged. There's a whole science behind this. And the way that you access the opportunity brain, the channel to that is emotional intelligence. Because when you manage your emotions, you'll be able to access the opportunities that are there for you, waiting for you, that you are capable of accessing, but you cannot if emotionally you're feeling overwhelmed. I would like to encourage you all to reflect on your life. What is going well and what's not going so well? And comment below on the things that are not going well and where you feel you are self-sabotaging. And in future videos, I'm going to be unpacking elements of how we self-sabotage and specific techniques that you can use to address it. Please like and subscribe. There's going to be more content coming out in the future. Thanks for watching. I'm a qualified counselor, and my channel is intended to help guide you on your mental health journey. I cover a broad range of topics, and while my videos do not offer advice, they contain information, techniques, and strategies that you can use to help optimize you in living your best life. If you're interested in counseling with me or would like to find out more, please click on my website where you can book a session or contact me directly. Please like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon.